Hello, everybody. Everybody's having a good night. This is the July 19th meeting of the Board of Labor Standards. My name is Brian Clinton. I am the chairperson. I'm going to pull up our agenda for tonight. I'm going to start off by making a motion to move the Williams versus Petrangelo case to our next meeting. Do I have a second on that from the board?
Dominic Ward seconds.
Thank you, Dominique. Michael, do we have to take an official vote on that? Okay, call the roll. Dominique, how do you vote on that?
Aye.
Valerie Cofield?
Aye.
Brian Clinton is an aye. Motion passes. Moving down to our next agenda item, Spears versus Southfield Investments. I would like to go straight into the presentation of evidence. So Office of Workforce Protections, you can go ahead.
Thank you to the board.
I'm sorry, Chris. Give me 1 second. Can we
Yeah.
just have the parties involved in this identify themselves?
I'm Michelle Spears.
I'm Yukiko Jin.
Thank you.
I am Christopher Diamore. I'm from the City of Philadelphia Law Department, appearing on behalf of the Office of Worker Protections.
Thanks, Chris. You can go ahead.
Okay. Well, I thank you to the board. If we're going to skip through opening statements, then I would call Michelle Spears as my first witness.
Okay.
Will the witness be sworn?
Give me 1 second on that.
Hi, am I supposed to swear in the witness? The court reporter?
Michael, do we have an answer on that?
That should be
cool.
fine, yeah.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, can you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Shall I begin with the examination?
Yes.
Okay. Could you please just state your full name for the record?
Spears.
Okay. And were you ever employed by a company called Southfield Investments?
Yes.
And what was the nature of your employment with Southfield?
I worked for a local laundromat called You Do It Laundry as a laundry worker.
Okay. And where was the location of that business?
I believe on 5th Street in Spruce in Philadelphia.
Okay. When did you start? When did your employment with them start?
In late July 2021.
All right. And what was your regular hourly rate of pay?
$13 an hour.
Okay. And when was the last date that you worked there?
August the 21st of 2021.
Ms. Spears, who was your supervisor while you were employed there?
Yukiko Jang, who's here now in the meeting.
Okay. Did there come a time when you filed a complaint with the Office of Worker Protections?
Yes.
Okay. If I could ask, am I supposed to show the exhibits, or will someone be showing the exhibits?
You can show the exhibits, Chris.
Okay, I can do that. Need to share my screen. There it is. All right. I'm showing you what has been pre-marked as Exhibit A. Do you see this, Exhibit A,
Yes.
on your screen? Okay. I'm going to scroll down. Okay. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And I can scroll around it. Maybe I can reduce the size. What is this document?
This is the complaint that I filed 2 days after I resigned because I wasn't paid the overtime pay.
Okay, great. So you filed it on
The 23rd.
23rd
Yep.
of August 2021. All right. And did you prepare this complaint, or did someone prepare it on your behalf?
I prepared it.
Okay. And in section 3 here, you checked that the violation was for overtime.
Yes.
Is that why you submitted the complaint? You weren't paid overtime?
Yes.
Okay. Regarding overtime, what was your overtime rate of pay?
I wasn't paid any overtime during my employment, but I had expected to be paid a time and a half, but I wasn't.
Okay. And you testified earlier that your regular rate of pay was $13?
Yes, so the overtime rate was supposed to be $19.50.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And show you Exhibit B. Okay, same question. Do you see this Exhibit B on your screen?
Yes, I do.
Okay, this is Exhibit B was pre-marked. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Okay, and did you receive this document from the Office of Worker Protections?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and you see the date on the document is February 25th, 2022,
Yes.
and that this is regarding a notice of determination.
Yes.
All right. You see here that the Office of Worker Protections identified that You Do It Laundry is in violation of Chapter 9-4300 of the Philadelphia Code, and therefore owes Michelle Spears $320.78 for unpaid overtime wages. Do you agree that's the amount that you're owed?
Yes.
Have you received that amount from Southfield Investments since this was issued in February 2022?
No.
Okay. Going to stop sharing my screen. I'd like to show you Exhibit C. Do you see Exhibit C on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is Exhibit C is a series of 3 documents. I'm going to try to rotate this. Here we are. It's a series of 3 pages and 3 documents. And we'll go through each, but do you recognize these?
Yes.
And what are these
My
documents?
pay stubs. My pay stubs when I was employed there.
Okay. You received 3 pay stubs from Southfield Investments?
I received 3 in the month of August and 1 in late July.
Ah, okay. And these 3 pay stubs, see, the first one is dated August 9th, 2021, is that right?
Yes.
And the net amount after taxes was $440.60.
Yes.
But down in the bottom of the first page, at the bottom there, you have it circled. Is that your handwriting on there, by the way?
Yes, it's mine.
Okay. So on the bottom there, you have circled $555.75.
Yes.
Okay. That's the gross amount of pay. Is that right?
Yes.
Before taxes are taken out?
Yes.
All right. Move on to the second page. The second pay stub is dated August 16th, 2021. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And the gross amount of pay there is $904.15.
Yes.
Right? Moving on to the third one, dated August 23rd.
Yes.
The gross pay there is $741.65. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. So all 3 of those pay stubs, that's the total amount of pay that you received from Southfield Investments in the month of August. Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And all of this pay was at the rate of $13 per hour. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Going to stop sharing my screen. Move on to Exhibit D. Okay. You see Exhibit D on your screen?
Yes.
Again, this is a series of 2 documents. I'm going to scroll down so you can see here. They look like maybe photographs. And have you seen these documents before?
Yes.
All right. And what are these documents?
These are my timesheets from when I was employed at You Do It Laundry.
Okay. And it looks like these are printed numbers. Was there a punch clock or a similar device?
Yes, a punch clock.
All right. Can you describe for the board the process that you use to punch in and out of work?
Yes. So when I was employed at You Do It Laundry, I was just instructed every day to punch in when I first arrived to work and when I left to punch out.
Okay. And did you punch out for any times that you took a break?
I was told that I was allowed a paid 15-minute break, However, if I wanted to take a lunch break over 30 minutes, that I was required to punch in and out.
Okay,
However, yeah, during my employment, I never took a paid 30 lunch break.
understood. So your breaks were shorter than 15 minutes or about 15 minutes long?
Yes.
Okay. Except for the 15-minute breaks that you took, are these punch cards accurate reflections of the hours that you worked?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And present Exhibit E. Okay. I'm showing Exhibit E. Ms. Spears, I have no questions for you about this exhibit. The reason I'm presenting it to the board is because I'd like the board to accept this as a summary of exhibits C and D pursuant to Pennsylvania Rule of Evidence 1006. Essentially, it's for the ease of the board to I transpose the times in and out that are on the punch card and calculated the hours worked and the overtime hours and the gross pay. I have no further questions for Ms. Spears, and I would like to move exhibits A, B, C, D, and E into evidence.
Is there any objection from the other side to Exhibit E as a summary documentation?
Can I talk?
Is there an objection to Exhibit E being entered as a
Exhibit E?
summary? E. Mm-hmm.
No, I have objection about the time card.
Okay, but is there an objection about Exhibit E summarizing what the time card and the other exhibit represents? No? Okay, then you can move it into evidence.
Okay. And exhibits A through D as well are moved in?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions for the witness.
Ms. Jang, do you have any cross-examination for the witness?
Okay, the first of all, okay, she did not have any experience.
Okay, wait. Do you have cross-examination for Ms. Spears? If you don't have any questions for her, just say you don't have any questions for her.
Oh, I have a question. Do you remember I told you if you won't get paid overtime, your rate, basic rate will be $10 and then overtime $15. But I told you if winter time, our business dramatically slow down, then you not get 40 hours. Then if you receive $10 per hour, you don't make that much money. So I asked you, which one would you like? $10 plus overtime rate or $13 flat rate? Which one would you like? I asked you, do you remember? And then you said, okay, flat. No, not this one. You did this. Okay, flat. Your thumb was up like this, and then okay, flat. You chose flat. That's
Ms.
what
Spears,
our conversation.
is that an accurate representation of the conversation you had? Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Ms. Jang, do you have any other questions for Ms. Spears?
Also, do you remember every time I told you to clock in, clock out when you go out because you did not bring your own lunch? So lunchtime, every time you went to CVS and the food truck, and then once you left, you never come back within 1 hour. So I told you, in that case, you have to clock out, and then when you come back, clock in. Many times I repeated you, but you never did it. You remember I told you? And you also went to bathroom many times. And once you went to bathroom, you spent time over 30 minutes in there. Other employee couldn't use the bathroom. And then at the beginning, we didn't want to embarrass you. That's why we just zip our mouths. But later, it was too often, more and more too often. And then you were using your phone in the bathroom, I guess, because every time you took your phone to the bathroom. And then I said, you cannot do this. Remember?
What is the question?
You remember what I said or not? I told you, clock out when you leave, clock in when you come back, and then do not go to the bathroom too much, spend time in the bathroom. Do not do that because other employee cannot use the bathroom. Do you remember I said that?
No. During my employment, I was
Okay.
simply told to punch in when I arrived to work and to punch out when I left. And like I stated earlier, if I took a paid 15-minute break, that I didn't have to clock out at all. However, if I took a unpaid 30-minute lunch break, I was required to clock out and in. However, as I stated earlier, I never took a unpaid 30-minute lunch break. I followed all of the instructions that were
You worked
given.
over 10 hours and then you just took 10 minutes, 15 minutes break? No, absolutely not. You left so many hours and all other employees reported to me. I checked my surveillance camera and then it turned out you took over 1 hour break. Actually, sometimes 1.5 hours, and then on Wednesday I was off. And then at that time you took even 2 hours outside. You don't remember?
No, this never occurred.
You don't remember, okay, fine. But it was true.
Okay, Chris, do you have any more witnesses?
No, I have no witnesses. No other witnesses.
Ms. Jang, do you have any witnesses?
No, at that time, during pandemic, it was harder to hire people, and the people in and out, they already left. So I don't have any.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to go back on one thing real quick and make sure that you did not have any objections to the exhibits. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have any closing statements?
May I?
Yes. I can make a closing statement.
ahead, Chris.
Well, thank you to the board for hearing this case. If this is a fairly simple matter, if we add up the number of hours per week that Ms. Spears worked that are greater than 40 hours per week, then the testimony shows that those hours should be paid at $19.50, not $13. And according to the calculation by OWP, the amount owed is $320.78, which is just the difference between the amount that was paid for regular time and the amount that should have been paid for overtime. And what we're asking is for the board to deny the appeal because OWP correctly determined that the appellant Southfield Investment violated the ordinance by failing to pay the overtime rate as agreed between the parties.
Thank you. Ms. Jang, do you have any closing remarks to the board?
Yes. So I wanted to deduct her breaking hour, but he did not follow the store rule. When she take break, she has to clock out, clock in. She never followed the store rule. okay? So I want you to deduct at least 1 hour a day because she took over 1 hour break. But why I calculated her wage based on time card? Because actually I was going to deduct actual her break hour from the time card and then going to pay overtime rate. But the card, she never followed the rule. So it shows too many hours, right? And if I deduct, but the time card shows, okay, 60 hours, but I pay only, let's say 54 hours then. And then I don't pay overtime. It looks so bad, right? So anyway, I paid according to hours time card shows. But actually let's say she took 1.5 hour lunch break. And then I took only 1 hour deduct time for lunch break. And then I still have to pay the hour she did not work at overtime rate. It's not fair, right? You understand what I'm saying? She did not perform, let's say, hours the time card shows. And then 1.5 hour I want to deduct, but if I just deduct 1 hour and in 30 minutes I have to pay overtime rate, no fair. That's why I was going to deduct all the hours she did not work, but she doesn't use the time card. Then I cannot calculate right hours, right amount. She did not follow. You did not follow. You never, many hours you worked, and even single one day, you did not clock out, even single one day. You had the intention to get paid for the hour you did not perform. That's not fair. You went out and then came back 1 hour later, and then around 5 o'clock again, you went CVS and then never come back again. And then you were mostly washing, and the other employee were ready to fold, but you don't wash because you don't come back to work. And the folding people waiting, no longer ready to fold because you don't come back. Then everybody dragged the time, and then we ended up finishing the day like 7:30, 8 o'clock. We couldn't finish. We could have finished earlier if you performed your job during the working hours, but you in and out, in and out, in and out, not effectively working. So ended up the day 7:30, 8 o'clock. You did not clock out even one day.
Ms. Jang, do you have any additional arguments?
No, I should be able to deduct her lunch break. And after deduction, should be calculated overtime rate.
Okay, thank you. I make a motion for the board to move into an executive session to discuss. Do I have a second?
I second that motion. Valerie Cofield.
Thank you, Valerie. I'm gonna.
Hey, Mr. Clinton, this is Evan Blaker for Petronio Contractors. Before you get there, just question. I know you started off the session by adjourning the Petronio matter. Just curious if you can give us a basis or a reason for the request.
I can, yes. We are. We had a board member not be able to make this. Actually, can you give me 1 second?
Sure.
Sorry about that, Mr. Blaker. We were unable to have a quorum in this meeting. We're just going to push it to a later date when we're able to have a quorum.
You know, quorum for the Petrangelo matter? Or for
Correct.
the? Okay,
Correct. For the John matter.
okay, thank you.
No problem. I'm going to do that breakout room.